The Vampire's Dream. The Vampire's Dream. We got time for one more. The Vampire's Dream. Emmanuel, what's up? Listen. I told you this year we coming. New media, we coming. We got to talk about this stuff. I'm going to keep talking about it. And once again, we're going to see who outlasts who comes up with the better points, who comes up with the arguments that make the most sense, tit for tat. So, strap on your seatbelts. Now, Lomachenko, he just beat, not Jorge Linares, whatever his name, Anthony Corolla, Toyota Corolla, right? He just beat him. You're hearing all types of stuff from different people. So we're going to, like I said, uncover the facts. See what makes sense. See what doesn't make sense. Let me get the music queued up. But you guys see the title of the video. Man fans want to put Vasily Lomachenko in the witness protection program. The reason I say that is because, see, this, just so you guys know, the reason we have to examine these things is not because of new media. I told you from the jump, I am content watching Lomachenko's career play out. Wherever he's destined to be, that's where he will be. End of story. They try to blame and redirect. It's like misdirected anger because they know what I'm saying is true. Again, I am content watching, waiting, see Lomachenko keep earning it and keep proving it and show where he lies. But anytime there's a non-black fighter, usually like a white fighter, you see all of this praise and anointed, premature stuff. And it's like, okay, if that's your standpoint, that's cool. But now I want to see this that you're talking about. The standards are insane. The standards are insane for black athletes and black fighters. And I'm going to keep saying this because I really feel this. I'm not saying this is how I want the world. I'm saying this is what I see. And people get mad, oh, the race card again. But they're not saying what I'm saying that's a lie and refuting it with fact. That's what they won't do. They'll complain, they'll gripe, they'll kick and scream. They'll try to redirect and misdirect and, say you're race baiting. But they won't refute what I am saying. That's all we need you to do. Yeah, it's definitely like that for black and brown fighters. I've been saying this. It's like Mikey Garcia, for example. He lost his last fight. Bob Arum is making fun of him for doing that. But they're not putting Lomachenko in that type of position where in one move, in one fight, he's jumping up 2 weight classes. Right? So it's easy to make fun of a guy and kick a guy when he's down when you won't even do that for your fighter. They're not. Lomachenko, let's see him move up and fight Errol Spence. You think it'll be any different? If anything, Lomachenko might get stopped at 147, to be honest. But they would never even make that fight. Bob Arum ain't gonna send his person to. He wouldn't even a Crawford fight, an in-house fight. That's why you don't see nobody talking about that. How come? So it's easy to judge Mikey. Oh, haha, he lost every round. He did, but you ain't taking that risk. You're not putting Lomachenko in there with him. They started at the same division. So I don't want to hear Tim Bradley talking about, oh, his legs are too little, his frame. Mikey's not that big either. He still tried it, and he still was durable. Let's see how durable Lomachenko is versus Errol Spence. I don't even think Errol Spence would be cautious with Lomachenko. Real talk. I really don't. I mean, it's up to him how he chooses to fight. I think he respected Mikey. You know what I'm saying? So he, he's trying to box. He didn't want to make no mistakes. He's not gonna do that because Lomachenko, he's fidgety. He's gonna try to walk Lomachenko down. Like, he's not gonna be. Lomachenko's not even. He's knocked out 2 of the 3 people at lightweight, 1 to the body, and then 1. I don't think Errol would fear his power at 147. They would say he's too small coming off with the excuses off top. Oh, you already know. But here's the thing. So we don't get this conversation thrown, because this is another thing old media tries to do. They try to use my words against me. That's never going to happen, because I know what I say and I'm there what I'm saying. I'm not even suggesting. I don't even care if Lomachenko goes to 147, because we know it's a pipe dream, and Top Rank is not going to do that. So it's not even about him moving up. I'm just saying it's easy for Arum or whoever to mock Mikey for losing, Bob Arum, like, oh, he lost every round. You just took the fans' money. Well, let's see how Lomachenko would do. That's what I'm saying. Right? So don't turn this into like, oh, ego's trying to force Lomachenko to 147. I don't even care. There's good fights at 135 and 140. I don't even care about 47. I know that wouldn't happen. But my point being is this. Black and brown fighters, look, Mikey had to do that just to try and attempt at greatness. Lomachenko ain't doing stuff. Rigondeaux had to jump up 2 weight classes to fight Lomachenko, to try to prove his greatness. He came up short. So there would be a lot of guys that would come up short if they just jumped up 2 weight classes like that. That's one thing. But just so you guys know, old media is the reason for this. If you just let Loma take his fights and see where he ends up, I'm good with that. But ESPN, they're tripping. You got Max Kellerman. He just said, I'm giving Lomachenko extra credit for beating Anthony Corolla. Those were literally his words. They had Teofimo on the show, and Max Kellerman, and it's a shame because I feel like Max Kellerman, I used to relate to Max Kellerman like a lot, like in the boxing world. I felt like he was one of the guys that always kind of knew his shit, but he seems like a company man. He, out his own mouth, Max Kellerman says, here, I'm going to play it for you guys. They're talking to Teofimo. He's telling you why he wants to fight with Lomachenko. Once again, black fighters have to just fight whoever. Different styles, move up, challenges. If anyone calls them out, right? If anyone's calling them out and they don't fight them, it's a perceived duck, right? Like if Tyson Fury called out Wilder and Wilder said for any reason he didn't want to fight Tyson Fury, what old media would say, he's ducking. But yet you have Teofimo and Pacquiao who have called Lomachenko out, and for some reason he doesn't have to fight either guy right away. There's like a patsy, a scapegoat, an excuse to not fight either one. But yeah, Max Kellerman, like I said, years ago I was like grew up came up in the game and like just fucking with his opinion. I thought he like knew a lot. But he seems like a company man, like he's repeating a narrative.
When it's all said and done, everybody's talking about me and him. When it's all said and done, everybody wants to see that fight.
Teofimo.
When it's all said and done, I can fight.
What did you think? You were sitting there ring.
Guys are scared of Lomachenko before they even get in the
Listen.
fight, and they had to match him up with this type of fight. These guys are scared of Lomachenko before they even get.
He says, Teofimo says they had to match him up with a guy like Anthony Corolla because these type of guys are scared before they even get in the ring.
Scared of Lomachenko before they even get in the ring. All of them.
Isn't that what he's saying about you?
See, Max Kellerman, isn't that what he's saying about you?
He's saying that you're saying, well, these guys aren't much. He's supposed to do that, but that's what he's saying about you. This kid is supposed to do that against.
These are horrible talking points. Lomachenko is older. Lomachenko is like 31. Teofimo's 21. Lomachenko has 2 gold medals. Like, in what world do we not consider variables? Wait, like, okay, so if I apply for a job and I'm 31 years old and I've had a ton of similar work experience and managerial experience, I'm bilingual, I have a college degree, don't you think a job would consider these things as opposed to an 18-year-old who speaks one language and dropped out of high school? You don't think they're going to, like, only in boxing do you hear stuff like this. Like Max Kellerman is saying, isn't that what Loma says about you? How can Loma say that about somebody who's 20, 21 years old? What is he talking about? That sounds like some old media shit. How can Loma say you, okay, it sounds crazy. Lomachenko is the one being billed as pound for pound. See, this is the thing. I keep telling you guys, old media and these old media narratives, they never work out because they don't align with what they're trying to make them align with, right? Nobody said Teofimo is #1 pound for pound in all of boxing. Nobody keeps bringing up 400 fights and 2 gold medals, and Teofimo doesn't have 2 gold medals. You get what I'm saying? So what is he talking about? He's trying to rebuttal. Hey, isn't that what Loma's saying about you? But nobody said Teofimo's #1. What is he talking? Just listen.
About what?
He's saying that you're saying, well, these guys.
They had to match him up with this type of fight. These guys are scared of Lomachenko before they even get in the ring. All of them.
Isn't that what he's saying about you?
About what?
He's saying that you're saying, well, these guys aren't much. He's supposed to do that, but that's what he's saying about you. This kid is supposed to do that against that level of opposition.
See, that, like I said, these things don't correlate because we're talking about a 31-year-old versus a 21-year-old. They're at different spots in their career. Lomachenko has 406 amateur fights. He has like a record of 396-1 in the amateurs, but then he was also in a World of Boxing tournament where he had about 6 fights. I believe he even fought Jose Ramirez in that tournament. So he has 397 amateur fights plus the World of Boxing, which was, you know, in between the pro and amateur stuff. So he has like 405 fights before he even turned pro. So we're talking about 2 different things. You get what I'm saying? So he's like, isn't that what Lomachenko says about your opposition? They're at 2 different points of their career. That's like me comparing Canelo Alvarez, who he is in boxing, to Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia is 20 fighting Dennis Hogan. So yeah, if Canelo's fighting Dennis Hogan, that would be a bit weird because Canelo is a multi-belt champion. He's further along in his pro career. Do you get what I'm saying? But people want things to be equal. That's not how boxing is not going to be equal in that. Like, why would I hold Floyd Mayweather to the same standard I hold Shakur Stevenson to? Like, let's say Floyd comes back, you know, Manny Pacquiao. Why would I say, oh, why is Mick Conlan fighting this guy and Pacquiao's fighting Keith Thurman? That doesn't make sense. They're at 2 different stages of their career. So what Max was trying to say, isn't that what he's saying about you, makes no sense, because why would Lomachenko say anything about Teofimo, his level of competition, when he's 21 and he's just fighting the build-up fights that most promoters put their fighters through? You know, so these things don't make sense. Why would Lomachenko be reaming Teofimo's level of confidence when he's only 21 years old and he has a handful of fights? See, it's easy to dissect what old media is saying.
Hell of our opposition. This is the first time that you see him actually drop somebody with 1 punch at the 135 division, right? Against somebody that's just been folded the whole time and just holding his hands. Didn't want to throw a punch, but every time he did throw a punch, he at least landed, right?
Didn't want to throw a punch. He's talking about Anthony Corolla, which is exactly what I said before. I just seen this right now.
Okay, then. So when it's all said and done, the whole thing is that we don't have the world title, right? The whole thing is that we have this amount of fights, and he's just going to use that as his leverage. The whole thing at the end of the day is put the people in front of us, and we'll beat them, no matter who it is. I've been asking for these fights. I've been asking for him, Richard Comey, Mikey Garcia, whoever it is, and all they have to say is, even with Pedraza, all they have to say is, what do we get from fighting Teofimo Lopez? They're all going to use that, but they see danger. That's what they see. A lot of these fighters nowadays don't even take fights, man. They choose and they pick their opponents. You know, so when it's all said and done, April 20th, we have that fight on the undercard, Crawford and Khan. Then comes, hopefully, the world title fight, either with Richard Comey, either with, if Mikey vacates, we could get that. But we want world titles, and hopefully make this fight happen with me and Lomachenko. I'm here right now.
But you didn't watch the fight.
Nah, I didn't watch the fight.
You never really looked up.
Fight with Lomachenko or anything. I know how these fighters are.
Listen.
Why were you not interested?
Because it's honestly, I know how these fighters are and how they approach when they come to a fight with Lomachenko or anything. It's the same thing. Like mentally, that's how you get these fighters, right? That's how I get these fighters mentally, right? So when it's all said and done, they just see his footwork or whatever it is, and they're already shook. You know, they just take the fight for a paycheck. And the whole thing is that I don't need to see that because I already know the outcome that's going to be. He had to do that. And good that he did that. That's good that he had to do that. So, you know, that makes the fight just that much more interesting to watch.
You feel like he did what he was supposed to do.
He did.
Get no extra credit. No. This was your job.
That was his job. That's what they said. That guy was just a walking corpse. Yeah.
He just Teofimo just said Lomachenko fought a walking corpse. See? Listen, I didn't even say it that harsh, but this is very similar to what I said. I told you, they're going to sell it as a mandatory, whatever. Richard Comey is hurt. But this is the thing. It's not the type of fight that shows you anything about Lomachenko that you didn't already know. The thing with new media is this. Nobody said Lomachenko is piss poor. Nobody said Lomachenko is not good. The issue herein lies the problem. Listen to me carefully. They're billing Lomachenko as this Superman of sorts. They're saying he's better than Muhammad Ali. He could possibly beat Pretty Boy Floyd. He's better than Floyd. He's better than anything you've seen from Pacquiao, Roy Jones. This is the problem. If they just let Lomachenko be, old media is putting the pressure on him because they won't just let the shit ride and let him show us what he got in store for his career. They're saying he's greater, so that's putting pressure on him. That's what that is, you know. And beyond that, listen, Lomachenko got a stoppage and he got a win. Cool. He moves on to the next phase of his career. You know, he hasn't lost since Salido. I get that. But a fight like that, it just shows you what you already knew about him, that he could scrap and he's definitely capable of beating that level of competition. No more, no less. It's not like his profile dips down or he loses respect. But the thing is, they're trying to see this performance and give him like this is reassurance that he's pound for pound because we just watched him beat Anthony Corolla. This is the problem. If you just said, oh, another win, I can't wait to see who he fights next, it wouldn't be no big deal. But when you're acting like this performance reassured your claims of him being number one pound for pound, oh, he just showed you why he's the king. That's the issue. Because old media is fake as shit and they're liars. They did not. Okay, same thing with Errol Spence. Who said Errol Spence beat his mandatory Carlos Ocampo, a fight I was at, and then gave Errol Spence, moved him up on the pound for pound list for beating fucking Carlos Ocampo? Name one person. Show me the ESPN article where Errol Spence, he didn't take whatever 4 rounds or whatever Lomachenko took with Corolla. He took 1 round and destroyed Carlos Ocampo. That's who was rated. That was his mandatory. And guess what? His mandatory had a good knockout percentage, a decent one, and was bigger than him. Errol Spence chewed him up and spit him out in 1 round. And you didn't see nobody, not near nobody, move Errol Spence up and say, yo, this dude pound for pound now, because he just knocked out Carlos Ocampo in 1 round and made it look easy in front of 15,000 people. So he had a bigger, this is what they do to black fighters. He had a bigger crowd. I was there. There was 15,000 people in Frisco at the Star in Texas. He destroyed his mandatory in 1 round. Nobody elevated him, or like it was just a win, you know, he just won. And his guy was bigger than him. Corolla didn't look significantly bigger than Lomachenko like Carlos Ocampo did. And if I'm not mistaken, Carlos Ocampo was undefeated, you know, versus Corolla has 6 losses. Now he has 7. This is what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. Nobody, you know for a fact, old media didn't say Crawford is that dude because he beat his mandatory. When Floyd Mayweather beat Robert Guerrero, he dogged him. Robert Guerrero had 1 loss on his record because the other one with Salido was a no contest. People expected that from Floyd. Ain't nobody said, oh, Floyd, you know, they just looked at it like Floyd being Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was like, oh, see, you know, when he impressed people more so with like the Canelo win, because that was somebody who's big, strong, and stuff like that, you know. But you didn't see people give a ton of credit. And Robert Guerrero, to me, like I said, Robert Guerrero had a better career at the point when he fought Floyd than Anthony Corolla. But this is what they try to peddle and push off. That's why we exterminating these
but at this
roaches
point in your career right now.
Why do you feel that you're ready right now for Loma?
Because it's shown. It's shown no matter what the opposition is. It's shown that I can punch. I'm quick. I catch and shoot. I do all these things. And it's not even just the power or the speed. It's the intelligence that I have in that ring. There's no other fighter that Loma has fight that is like me. Look.
Does he sound like he's not confident?
Look, I'll say this.
Name one.
I give him extra credit for that. Just
See?
like
He said, name one fighter he fought like me. Max Kellerman ignored it and didn't answer. He said, name one fighter he fought like me at 135.
There's no other fighter that Loma has fight that is like me.
Look, I'll say this.
Name one.
I give him extra credit for that, just as I give you extra credit for beating fighters that you're supposed to beat the way you beat them.
Max Kellerman, he's very disappointing with that. Very disappointing. Because he's no longer, to me, like just a boxing analyst. He's like, I don't know, he got company parking, and you know what I'm saying? He's like completely gone to, like, he's like part of the networks or some shit. It's like having a boy, like, you know, like one of your, like a male friend, like one of your partners or whatever, and your coworker or something. So not like one of your lifelong friends or something, but let's say one of your partners at work that you have as a coworker, and then he hooks up with a girl, and then you never see him, and like, you know what I'm saying, he never want to kick it. He never makes time to get out. Like, you don't want to do the shit y'all used to do, like, you know, go hoop, or that's what Max Kellerman reminds me of, a dude like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's completely went the way of the corporations, like whatever they talking about, whatever directives they're telling at the fighters meeting, that's the direction. He used to speak freely on boxing, but that what he just said was horrible. He says, I give Lomachenko extra credit for that. This is just hilarious to me. He gives Lomachenko extra credit for beating a guy who was 100-1 underdog. That's really that's what we're saying. Lomachenko beat Anthony. See, and the thing with new media around, it's getting ugly, because old media is going to bleed through each and every time when they say stuff like that. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb. I promise you, because that just sounds ridiculous. Very disappointing from Max Kellerman, because like I said, he was one of the people pushing for Rigondeaux versus Nonito Donaire, that, you know, no one else was giving Rigondeaux a fair shake, and, you know, making excuses for the fight not to happen. And he was the one putting people on Rigondeaux like, no, this Cuban can scrap. But now he's just gone the way of corporate America, Company Man 2000. And he's saying, like, basically propaganda. He says he gives Lomachenko extra credit for that, basically beating Anthony Corolla. So he gets extra credit for beating a guy he was easily supposed to beat. No one gave a shot to beat him, right? No one gave Anthony Corolla a shot to really win. I didn't see nobody, right? And he was 100-1 underdog. Some betting sites had him, I think, 400-1. That's what I seen on Twitter, right? It was like a post from a betting site. It said 400-1, but whatever. We'll say 100-1. He was a mad underdog. And you give him extra credit because, as opposed to, that's what I'm saying. It looks bad when they try to force this upon you. Just say Lomachenko did his thing. I can't wait for his next fight. But when they try to oversell it, it just looked crazy.
When you're putting with a guy like that, we know we can't get carried away because some of it's matchmaking, but not everyone can.
Contradiction. Max Kellerman just says, I give him extra credit for that. Then he follows up by saying we can't get carried away because we know that's matchmaking. So you just contradicted yourself. You said you gave Lomachenko extra credit for beating Anthony Corolla, 100-1 underdog, and then now you're saying we can't get too carried away because that was the result of clever matchmaking. Wow.
You know we can't get carried away because some of it's matchmaking, but not everyone can do that. Just like not everyone can beat the fighters you beat the way you beat them too. So I give him extra credit just as I give you. The difference is Corolla's better than the fighters you fought so far.
I want to stop Corolla in the second round.
This shit don't even make sense. He says Corolla's better than the fighters you fight so far. Why are they making it like Corolla was this world beater? Like, it doesn't even look crazy, bro. I mean, this looks crazy. Like, here, I'm going to show y'all. Fuck it. We're going to do it the new media way. I can show y'all. I'm going to show y'all. You know, we're going to get to the bottom of this propaganda stuff. I'm going to show y'all. This is the current record of a guy who knocked out Anthony Corolla. So he right here knocked out Anthony Corolla. This wasn't necessarily his record when they fought, but that's his current record. 38, 12, and 2. He's been knocked out 9 out of 12 times. A 5'8.5" guy from the UK, nicknamed Dirty. This is the current record of the guy with a 38% knockout ratio. And he knocked out Anthony Corolla when they fought. But let me show you. So the Anthony Corolla fight, win. See, look. Look, Anthony Corolla, you see right here? Anthony Corolla. He won in the 6th round. Way back in 2012, he knocked out Anthony Corolla. Right? When he fought Anthony Corolla, let's look at his resume. When he fought Corolla in 2012, this was his record. 29-6-1. Look, you guys see that? When they fought in 2012, this was his record. 29-6-1. And he still knocked out. He knocked out Anthony Corolla. in the 6th round. Corolla was down in the 3rd round, and he got cut in the 4th. So, like, it's not really making sense for me. Deary Matthews had a record of 29-6-1, I think it said. So he already had 6 losses, the same amount of losses Corolla came into the fight with Lomachenko for. Deary Matthews had a record of 29-6-1, and you've seen he has 9 losses. So actually, I should show y'all that. Hold on. This is domestic level competition at its finest. We're going to get into it. We're going to see how many times he was stopped before he came and stopped. Before he stopped, what's his name? Anthony Corolla. So I want to see how many times he had been stopped at the time. Out of the 6 losses, how many times he had been stopped. Let's go. Okay. So he had been stopped once right here by this guy. Choi. Hold on, that's way too big. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so he got stopped. Look at this record, bro. He got stopped by Choi Svin Puri. He got knocked out. Then he had 1 win against John, whoever the fuck. And then he lost 3 fights in a row, all by knockout. So he had 1, 2, 3, 4. So in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in 5 fights, he won 4 in this stretch of, in this space of time. This is Deary Matthews, who knocked out Anthony Corolla. Then later on, he fights Anthony Corolla. So this was, okay, let's look at this. Hold on. I'm going to put this in perspective for you guys. So this is around 2008, 2009. Then he later, 2008, 2009, he bounces back. And in 2012, he stops Anthony Corolla. So 4 years later, he came back. And then he, with 6 losses, was able to, and 4, hold on, let me see if there's more than 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he had 6 losses before he, actually, wow, look what I just found out. He fought Emiliano and got stopped right before he fought Anthony Corolla. So he was coming off of a stoppage loss. So he had, oh my God, bro, bro, I'm out. Okay. So let's put this in perspective. I told you, you should never fuck with new media. It's on now. So let's put this in perspective. Deary Matthews in 2012 stopped Anthony Corolla. Deary Matthews came in with a record of 29-6-1. 6 losses, and he had been stopped 6 times, including a knockout loss in his fight. When he fought Anthony Corolla, he was coming off of a knockout loss. So he wasn't even coming off of a victory. He was coming off a knockout loss, went into the Anthony Corolla fight and upset Anthony Corolla with a record of 29-6-1 in 2012, right? Lomachenko fights Anthony Corolla after that point, when Corolla has 6 losses in 2019, because this is mandatory. Okay, whatever, this is mandatory. And Max Kellerman says he's giving him extra credit. So how come Deary Matthews doesn't get extra credit and nobody says anything, and he stopped Lomachenko 6 years before he stopped Corolla 6 years before Lomachenko did it, in about the same amount of rounds. Deary Matthews stopped him in the 6th. Lomachenko, when was his stoppage? 4th or 5th? Come on. and he was coming off a knockout loss. So I would love to hear why Max Kellerman gives him extra credit. Ego, this De'Aaron Matthews got stopped by Ohari Davis, who's been stopped too, who is a D+ fighter. Man, this is what I'm saying. You guys can try to fight the new media shit. I love it. I love when they try to fight it because they look crazy. So the point being, Anthony Corolla had 6 losses, including he had been knocked out before by De'Aaron Matthews, who was coming off a knockout loss himself and had 6 losses and 6 knockouts at the time he knocked out Anthony Corolla. So once again, if old media was smart, they would know this stuff, right? Probably because De'Aaron wasn't on ESPN. Come on, bro. You about to get blocked because I know what you're trying to do. So you think De'Aaron Matthews, you think Max Kellerman would say he's giving De'Aaron Matthews pound for pound #1 credit for beating Anthony Corolla? Is that what you're trying? Block this motherfucker. I don't even have the time for it. Block social scientists. Block them. I don't even care. They're not ruining this message. If I have any shooters in the building, just block them. You trying to distract from the message. The bottom line is they're saying these are the performances, wins like this, that elevate Lomachenko to pound for pound supremacy. De'Aaron Matthews didn't get elevated to pound for pound supremacy off of no Anthony Corolla knockout. Stop it. So once again, it wouldn't be as big of a deal if you just let the shit ride, said Loma fought as mandatory. His next fight, I can't wait to see. Hopefully he fights Mikey. But they're trying to use that as a catalyst to say why Lomachenko is #1. You know, performances like that. Beating guys like Jorge Linares, right, who has already been stopped as well more than once. Stopped by Antonio DeMarco, who got stopped by Broner, right? Things like that.
Andre,
and use it as a reason to not fight Teofimo, who's a completely different style.
real quick, before we move on, what do you think about the fact that Teofimo didn't watch Lomachenko? You talked about the mindset. Do you think it's wise, yes or no?
I mean, if it works for him, roll with it. I don't think that he didn't watch it because he was scared or fearful. I think, again, the word I used was disdain. Like, I'm not impressed. And I said this a couple telecasts ago. If he and his father feel like they want the Loma fight, give it to him. At the end of the day, when Ali wanted to fight Sonny Liston, he was crazy. When Floyd Mayweather wanted to fight Gennaro Hernandez, he was crazy. He turned out not to be so crazy at the end of the day.
Will he be crazy to take Lomachenko now, Tim?
Well, I want to see him. I want to see him continue to move forward in his career. I don't know if he's ready yet. I'm not sure if he's ready yet.
And every time you guys,
But no. I respect you, Lopez. I really do. And you know, I love the idea, and I love the passion, and I love the competitiveness. You know, you want what Loma has right now, and that's the throne. I get it. But I just feel that you should take your time, man. Take your time. Go to course. Hey, after this next fight, you know, depending on how you look, you know, take another step closer to get to that opportunity, man.
10 seconds to respond, then we got to move on.
the whole thing is, I don't even need a Lomachenko fight to be the best at what I do. But we want this fight. I want to come out at 135 with a title and be the best at it before I go to 40.
Make it happen, man. That's what I...
So maybe it's a Bay Area thing. I agree with Ward. He said make that fight happen. He said if him listen, we gotta kick some shit, bro. I told you I'm destroying old medium. Andre Ward is absolutely right. If him and his team, aka his trainer, his dad, right, they want to see, they really feel this confident. This is the fake thing about old media. Let me break it down for y'all. Fake thing about old media is this. Are you guys honestly gonna try to explain to me that there's a better easy fight to make at lightweight for Lomachenko that proves his #1 pound for pound status other than Teofimo? So an easy fight to make. You can't even say Mikey Garcia because he's coming off a loss. He's a free agent that's been working with PBC and Al Heyman, and we don't even know if he's coming back to lightweight or if he's vacating. So I'm not even considering that a real life option until he's talking about fighting Eric Morales. I heard he's going to vacate the belt. That's what I heard personally. You know, I'm not going to tell my source, but we have to see. You know, I'm not putting it out as news. Don't take it as that. But I heard that's where it's at. So we'll see if that comes true. So who can Lomachenko fight that shows us what we need to see to rank him #1 pound for pound? That makes sense. Cinnamon Savage said, this kid on Loma's ass, he need to make it happen. Exactly. But once again, old media, the man fans, they trying to put Loma in the witness protection program. We see it. And Tim Bradley going along with it. I don't know, man. I don't know if he's ready, man. Like, why? Listen, this is another part that old media does. That's fake. That's fake. Tank is not with Top Rank, and he's fighting his own fight in July. Tim Bradley, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if he's ready. Ward said it best. He said Mayweather wanted Gennaro Hernandez. They said he was crazy. Ali wanted Sonny Liston, said he was crazy. Turns out he wasn't so crazy. You don't really know until you make the fight. You know, some people said Errol Spence wasn't ready for Kell Brook, or, you know, Roberto Duran couldn't beat Sugar Ray. You don't really know, you know, until you make the fight. But this is the fake part about old media. Really ask yourself this. Really ask it. No, just be real on some new media shit. Let's just really be real. What's like Godspeed? You know, I don't want to see fighters maimed and like mortally wounded. But what is the worst that's gonna happen to Teofimo? Like, do you get, like, let's say you put him in the fight. You act like you sending him to war or something, like a real war, like Iraq or something. Like, he's 21 years old. Canelo lost when he was 23 years old, and he's at the top of the sport. So you can lose, especially when you're young and you're durable. Look at Pacquiao. Pacquiao got knocked the fuck out in the Philippines more than once, like twice. Rustico Torrecampo knocked the fuck out and went on to do amazing things in the sport. Sergio Martinez got knocked out by Antonio Margarito. Went on to beat Kelly Pavlik. Went on to beat guys like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Right? So, what are we talking about? Teofimo, obviously we know what he stands to gain by fighting a guy like Lomachenko, but it's not even the end of the world. Even if he lost to Lomachenko, they could easily say, oh, you lost to a 2-time gold medalist. It wasn't your time, kid. Right? Bernard Hopkins lost his pro debut. And he lost to Roy Jones. And he went to prison. Came back and did legendary things. So that's how I know this is the witness protection program. Because people keep saying that, like, Teofimo, like, he's just so, you know, he's so out of his league. And I don't know, man. Like Tim Bradley's saying. I don't know. He has, even if he were to lose to Lomachenko, he could easily bounce back in his career. Look at these motherfuckers. Look at Anthony Corolla. He lost to Deary Matthews with 6 losses and 6 knockout losses. Coming off a knockout. He lost to him in 2008, 2009, and he's fighting Lomachenko years later. So what do you think is what's the worst that can happen for a 21-year-old fighting Lomachenko? We know what he stands to gain, so we know the upside. But the downside is, you know, like Mayweather Canelo. He loses real bad at age 21. So I agree with Andre Ward. Make the fight. What's the big deal? Like it's not like this is a do or die fight for him. Like if he were to lose, then he could never ever show his face in boxing. That's how I know they're trying to protect Lomachenko. Witness protection program. Because if you really think about it, he doesn't really, it would be easy to Rigondeaux, Nicholas Walters lost. So if a 21-year-old loses to him, right? What's the big deal? So that's how I know that they're putting him in the witness protection program. You know, the man fans, because they keep overly staying it. So to me, it has to be something more than that. It has to be something deeper, like fear. This is a common theme on my channel. Fear, not by me, by the fans. Fear makes people do crazy things. That's why it feels like this is something else, because it just seems like no, he's not ready. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's ready. Let's find out if he's ready. It's not, it's not like he has no time to bounce back. He's still young. He could take a loss. Look at Jermell Charlo. He just lost. It ain't over for him. He can get his belt right back and be good. So that shows me there's something else to it, because you guys seem real cautious and treading lightly. So I can't believe that the fans would rather not see what is on paper an awesome fight, just because they're trying to protect him. And I don't know, man. That doesn't sound right to me. Shout out to Justin Cole. Once again, this is why I do what I do on my channel, and this is why we succeed, because of Ego's Army and new media. Look at the points we're making. Justin Cole. Even Gary Russell Jr. lost to Loma and has bounced back in his career. Exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, Gary Russell was probably older when he lost to Lomachenko, than Teofimo is right now. Mir, that's just a whole nother can of worms. He said there's an immediate rematch for Jermell Charlo. Why didn't Lomachenko do that? Once again, this is how that's what it is for black fighters. You in something controversial, either the pressures for them to fight and rectify it and clarify it, or the fighter themselves want to just, for peace of mind. Like Andre Ward. He's like, I won. I can move on with my career, but I don't want this hanging over me. I'll fight Kovalev again. Jermell Charlo, he's a competitor, so he's like, fuck that. Run that back. Run that back. So, to me, this is clearly the man fans trying to put Lomachenko in the witness protection program, because I can't imagine that you just want to protect the career of Teofimo so bad. Like, it's just so damaging if he is to step foot. Like first of all, Lomachenko's not even he's not like a punishing, scarred for life type of fighter. Do you get what I'm saying? Like Deontay Wilder, if you lose badly to him, your career might be over. Just because he's a brute force guy. The way Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence humiliate people with power and like take their soul, your career might be, in shambles after that. But that's not even that's not even really Lomachenko's deal. I don't really put him in that category as like a soul snatcher. The people whose soul he quote unquote snatched were people who didn't have experience. They didn't have the style to beat him anyway. So I don't really feel like he snatched nobody's soul, like Rigondeaux did with Nonito Donaire. So yeah, it's not making sense to me that people are like, so like, who do you want to see Lomachenko fight that will satisfy you? So you don't care who he fights to justify this pound for pound talk and to bring clarification to it. He can just fight whoever, because Teofimo's not ready. He's too green. Pacquiao's too old. He can't move up because his frame's too small. He can't fight Terrence Crawford. He won't move up to 140 to fight in Regis Prograis or Jose Ramirez. So who do you want to see him fight? Richard Comey? That's the fight you guys want? That's why it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Who can Lomachenko fight? Who gets your respect that Lomachenko could fight that's better than Teofimo? You know, that's just looking like the dude to beat. The names I'm hearing are Richard Comey and Luke Campbell. But you guys don't even, I know how the casuals work. Mikey's a good fight, but he's coming off of a loss. So, you know, and he's with a different side. So I'd rather see the Teofimo because it's an in-house fight, easier to make. You know, Mikey's not a bad fight. If they can make it. I'll definitely support that fight. But, you know, him coming off a loss. And the other thing is this, like I've been saying, how is Bob Arum in Top Rank? How are they seriously going to make a fight when you keep talking shit about Mikey? You keep talking about Al Heyman. Is that the way the business gets done? Honestly. Do you really believe that? Because I know my temperament and I know my personality. If somebody's talking shit about me, if it's fuck me, it's fuck you. That's how I am. You get what I'm saying? So if someone's talking shit, I'm not helping them. I want to see them fail. I want to see them fall flat on their face. I'm not finna help them. I don't want to do business with them. I don't want to make money with them. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't deal with fake shit. 1 foot out, 1 foot in. I don't deal with snakes and rats and roaches and shit and vermin. So to me, that's just the code I live by. I know there's other people, but to me, where I come from, who I am, my morals, my ethic, I personally don't think it is wise to want to do business with somebody but publicly be bashing them constantly. Like ever since Mikey lost, Bob Arum's talking about Mikey quit and he took everyone's money, and I can't wait to see Lomachenko beat the snot out of him, beat the fuck out of him, beat the piss out of him. So I don't really feel like that gets Mikey in the ring. You know, Mikey already has his own issues with Top Rank from the past. You know, whatever caused the legal layoff or lawsuit and legal standoff. So there's already bad blood there. So I don't really feel like taunting each other is the way to get a fight across the line. Why is Devin Haney not pursuing a Loma fight? He is pursuing. I have an interview where you guys gotta, I'm gonna start blocking everybody, bro, because I don't have time for it. If you don't know what you're talking about, then this is not the channel for you. Devin Haney called him out on my channel. So he is pursuing him. So I don't even know where that came from. And that's just, again, that's changing the subject. We're not talking about Devin Haney. But he did want see, and that's another thing. Now that you brought it up, that's another good fight. He's confident. That's what I'm saying. You can't just front everybody off. Once again, within seconds, ego comes with receipts. Hungry, Devin Haney tells Ego he wants Vasyl Lomachenko. Receipts.
Boxing drops.
I be coming with them receipts.
You know, at some point I was a prospect, you know, but in my last two fights, you know, my last two fights, you know, I've been fighting guys, you know, who fought for a world title or was world champion already. You know, my last point he had the IBO, he was ranked number 2 in the WBA. You know, so that's why I feel like I'm a contender. You know, I've been ranked in three top 10 and 3 sanctioned bodies, you know, for a while now. So
Your opponent was, I watched the fight, he was a little bit awkward. Yeah. Was he a little bit?
I don't remember exactly what minute he's in.
5 people that you could fight, like dream fight. You said Lomachenko, and you tagged him.
Lomachenko, 2 more
like
Lomachenkos.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Why you want to fight him?
Because everybody think he the boogeyman or something, like they all scared of him. Listen,
You ain't?
where I'm from, the bullies get bullied, period. So, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I'll fight Lomachenko.
Why do you think you match up well with him? You getting big
because-
too. 'Cause I see you spar in Oakland, like I don't know. You might have been 16.
Yeah.
But I see you getting bigger, man.
Yeah.
So what you got for Loma?
I feel like my style will match up good with Lomachenko because I'm able to make adjustments. These guys that he fighting are just fight one style and they try to come at him and try to rough him up. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to be versatile and be able to make adjustments, and that's what I have.
All right. Where can the fans follow you?
Instagram, Twitter.
So that settles that. That was from this year. Shout out to Devin Haney. Bro, there's no defeating new media. So that's another person. And he's pretty much a free agent. The last time I checked, Nipsey Hussle voice. Last time that I checked, it was 5 chains on my neck. So he a free agent, and he called him out. That's another fight I would rather see over Richard Comey and all this shit. He said he wants to fight Lomachenko. All these guys think he's the boogeyman, and they fight him one way, but you just have to be versatile and mix up your attack. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the walls are closing in. He's not going to be able to front all these people off. Teofimo, I don't rank him. All right, what about Devin Haney? Oh, no, he too young. You know, his lips are too big. Like, we're not doing all this, bro. Pacquiao, oh, he's too old. Jose Ramirez, oh, I don't do 140. Tank, you know, can't happen because he's on a different side of the fence. Like, you know, whatever. So you, in your attempt to change the subject, you actually just made another point that I wasn't even trying to make. Devin Haney called him out too. That was from this year. That was from January of this year at the Broner fight when I seen Devin, Bay Area shit. So it's just like I said, they're not going to be able to keep parading around with the pound for pound stuff, and people are going to demand more. And then, like I said, the names that they're bringing up, like Luke Campbell, some of y'all don't even. This is how I know the old media is like faking it. Y'all don't even know Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell he's a gold medalist for the UK, but he's been knocked down a couple times. He has more than one loss too. When can we see someone fight Lomachenko stylistically that we want to see him fight? Look, let's look at it. Look, Luke Campbell has a record of 20-2, so he's lost twice. Age 31, 5'9", 71-inch reach. He has a good knockout percentage based on who he's fought, 73%. He lost to Jorge Linares and got dropped in that fight. Look, Campbell down once in round 2, but he's been down more than that. Look, he knocked out Deary Matthews at least, who beat Anthony Corolla. He went the distance with Argenis Mendez, who Robert Easter knocked out, and look what happened. Campbell down in the second round. But once again, a lot of y'all don't know shit about boxing. So Argenis Mendez is a guy Robert Easter knocked out brutally. That was one of Robert Easter's coldest knockouts. And he knocked Luke Campbell down in the second round. Look. Van Mindy. Campbell down in the 5th with a left hook to the head. So he's been knocked down several times. Like, bro, that's what I'm saying. And this is look. Van Mindy knocked him down and he lost this fight. Split decision. So these fights, like I said, on paper, the record don't look bad. The KO percentage don't look bad. But they try. That's clever matchmaking. That's clever matchmaking. They know, like, if I could easily pull this information up in 2 seconds, you mean to tell me the matchmakers can't do the same thing? So once again, yes, Luke Campbell, they're gonna say, oh, he has a good record, 20-2. He has a 73% knockout ratio. I mean, he's a southpaw, And, you know, but they're not going to tell you he's 31 years old and he has like a mediocre resume, right? His last 3 fights are Troy James and a rematch with the guy that beat him, Van Mindy, and he won the rematch, and Adrian Young. They're not going to tell you he's been knocked down versus Jorge Linares. He got knocked down by Argenis Mendez and won a decision, and Robert Easter knocked that same guy out. Not going to tell you that he lost the first fight with Van Mindy and got knocked down in the 5th round. You know, so it's a guy who's been dropped multiple times, 31, and fought, for the most part, domestic level competition. And then when he didn't fight domestic and he fought Jorge Linares from Venezuela, he got knocked down and lost that fight. It was on HBO. Right? So this is what we're talking about. Teofimo is not 31 years old. He's 10 years younger. Teofimo, look, Luke Campbell is 5'9", 71-inch reach. And he's 31. Let's look at Teofimo. Teofimo is listed at 5'8" with a 68.5-inch reach. And he has a higher KO percentage in the fewer fights, you know, and he's 10 years younger. And him and his dad are better talkers, you know. They're trying to build all these fights with all these other people from outside of America when you have a potential American star in the making that would translate well. Teofimo, they're calling him, why is ESPN talking to Teofimo in between the fight? Why aren't they talking to Luke Campbell in between the fight? Richard Comey? Because that's not a good segue. Because they're not really known in American audiences like that. Teofimo's been on ESPN several times. He's about to be on Crawford Khan pay-per-view. He has, you know, he speaks and acquits himself well. Has some bravado, confident, etc. So it's a bigger fight. It's a better fight. And unlike Richard Comey with 2 losses and Luke Campbell with 2 losses, Teofimo has no losses. So it's just all around a good fight. And it's an in-house fight. But, like I said, the man fans want to put Lomachenko in the witness protection program. Like I said, if I can pull up this about these fighters in 2 minutes, 2 seconds, you don't think his matchmakers can? Okay, Campbell gets dropped sometimes and this and that. It's very easy. Is Teofimo southpaw? I don't remember. I gotta check because I don't really remember. Oh, he's Orthodox. Okay. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. So, anyway, that's my standpoint. But yeah, disappointing for Max Kellerman to see how he's responding to this. You know, he says I'm giving Lomachenko extra credit for that, for beating Anthony Corolla. Listen, I feel like wins like that, no more, no less. Like, I'm not even being funny. Dominic Breazeale, stylistically, the way Wilder fights versus Dominic Breazeale, that is a better fight, and that's a more dangerous fight with everything considered than Anthony Corolla was. I really believe that. Because you have a couple of variables at play. Dominic Breazeale, obviously he knows what he's up against, so he's teaming up with Virgil Hunter. Virgil Hunter's an awesome trainer. So that could be a good weapon X. Virgil might concoct some kind of crazy plan, you know, an approach. You know, Virgil's a strategist. You know, he looks like he reads Sun Tzu and shit like that. So that's one thing I like. But beyond that, just the physical things, there's an emotional connection there because whatever happened with his brother and the hotel and the punching. So Wilder, we know, is not the most technical boxer at all times, at least. So if he gets in there on some vendetta and trying too hard to get the knockout, Brazil's bigger than him. You know, height-wise is about the same, but Brazil is just physically bigger than him. And he has, you know, a good punch. So to me, in this heavyweight, one punch can change everything, especially when you're 6'7" punchers. So to me, that's a more compelling fight. When you look at the stylistic matchup and you look at, I'm not trying to oversell it. I'm not trying to, you know, turn it into something it isn't. Same with Amir Khan versus Terrence Crawford. To me, a lot of people don't know shit about boxing. So the only thing they say is Khan has no chin. Khan has no chin. But again, Khan has Virgil Hunter. He went back with them. He looks to be in shape. You have to catch Khan's chin. They're about equal size, things like that. Crawford has power, but he's not like, he hasn't really knocked anyone out at welterweight with a single shot. It might have been a single shot that rung someone's bell. Oh, actually, he dropped Jose Benavidez with a single shot. You know. But he only has 2 fights there. Khan got more fights at higher weight, at 147 plus than Crawford. So I think that's an interesting fight. I'm not saying Khan wins it because Crawford's that dude. So I have to pick Crawford based on what I've seen from Crawford. But I think that's an interesting fight. Put it this way, based on the style matchup, there's more inherent danger with Khan Crawford than Corolla Lomachenko. If you look at what Lomachenko does well, and you look at what Corolla does, there's more danger with Khan presents to Crawford style. There's more danger what Dominic Brazil presents and his size and Wilder style. Khan is hard to outbox. Devin Alexander can box, and Khan was like, eesh, blasting him up. So Crawford, I think Crawford needs to be more rugged. And the other thing is, I got a video that I'm working on. I don't want to say too much, so I'm not going to say too much. But I'll do an in-depth talk about this if I have time, which I should. Khan, historically, Khan does very well with southpaws. Luis Collazo, Devin Alexander, I'm pretty sure is a southpaw, right? And the list goes on and on and on. You know, he does good with southpaws. Zab Judah is a southpaw. He stopped him. So Crawford is not necessarily a southpaw, but he's ambidextrous. And he likes to be, he's been doing his best work in the southpaw. So I know he's ambidextrous, but he might have to fight as a right-hander like Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Through most of the fight, because Khan seems pretty well versed with southpaws, and Khan got long arms, so it's just a good fight. Khan, like I said, I don't know about his chin and all that, but Khan presents more of a threat to Terrence Crawford just based on the style than Corolla presented with. But this is not what they're telling. This is what old media won't tell you. Khan's not in boring fights. Khan has footwork and long arms. He's a silver medalist. Anthony Corolla, we knew what the outcome was going to be. Stop it. You know, and see, this is the thing. Khan's not even Terrence Crawford's mandatory, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a more competitive fight on paper. The only reason if it's not competitive, that's just a testament of how good Crawford is. But I think it'll be pretty interesting. Because Crawford had to find his range with Jose Benavidez. You have to adjust to Khan's speed. Like, except for Bradis Prescott, nobody knocked Khan out in the first round other than Bradis. Even Canelo's big ass didn't. So, once again, the people that ESPN and old media put on the pound for pound list, not doing some of the things that other people are doing to strive for greatness. You know, same thing with Triple G too. They say he's the best 25 in the last 25. He's number 1, 2, and 3, you know, somewhere in there on ESPN's list. He's on the Gotti list and all that. And he's talking about fighting Steve Rolls. Not listening to the WBC, fighting Charlo, you know, not fighting Andrade, who's on his side and aligned with him, not fighting, you know, Derevchenko, who just fought today when he had the chance. And the other thing with Khan, never mind, I gotta save it for that. Hey, I'm actually about to get up. I'm about to go to bed. I feel like I've been grinding. The Vampire Stream. We had a lot of boxing. I need a rest. There was a lot of boxing, but we'll talk about this more. We'll definitely talk about this more. But again, it's disappointing to hear what Max Kellerman and Tim Bradley be talking about, because it just sounds like propaganda from ESPN. And this is the thing I'm trying to tell you, especially since new media is out and so relevant, it behooves you to just be honest without ODing. You don't have to OD. Exactly. Triple G versus Andre, make it happen. You don't have to. If a fighter is good, they're good. You know, we're gonna see. Like, see, this is the thing. The old media come and they'll be like, oh, you're dick riding Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. Won't. You're always defending him. I'm not defending shit. They're defending themselves by their performances. And the same people who say it's projection, because they say Lomachenko's number 1, and then they literally defend him when he doesn't look so hot versus Pedraza. When he fights Lenatus and gets dropped, it's always an excuse. Oh, he's really a featherweight. Oh, his shoulder was still aggravated. You know, it's always something. You know, Clarissa Shields. I don't have to defend the people. I told you I think Shields wins. She won and she dominated. It's you, it's old media who's constantly getting it wrong, who's constantly actually having to defend and make excuse. I told you Andre Ward would beat Kovalev. I told you he would beat him again in the rematch. It happened, and it happened. I told you Mayweather was going to beat Pacquiao. It happened, right? I told you Triple G wasn't going to fight Charlo. It happened. I told you people are avoiding Luis Ortiz. You see it. How many things can I get right? The Lord has blessed me. How many things am I going to get right? Like, I'm not perfect. I've got stuff wrong. You know, I thought Danny Garcia I said he would win a decision versus Thurman, and he lost the decision. I said Rigondeaux was going to beat Lomachenko because I thought he would be able to handle the size and do more and get off, you know, sharp, short shots, but he couldn't get into a rhythm. But recently we've been on it, bro. Ego had people crying on another page. Someone called you a Canelo stan. I haven't seen that. I get that all the time. They say I put it this way. This is how emotional boxing fans are. In 2016, when Canelo, or whenever year he fought Liam Smith and Amir Khan, they say I hated Canelo because I wasn't a fan of those two fights. That wasn't a good year for Canelo. He fought Amir Khan, which we knew the outcome, and he fought Liam Smith. They said I hated him. Then I pick him to beat Triple G. They say, oh, you're in love with Canelo. You know, then I pick him to beat Triple G in the rematch, despite being right in the rematch. They said, oh, you know, Golden Boy's paying you to say that. Just stupid shit, bro. So that's just what it is. They're going to say whatever. If they don't like what you're saying, they're just going to make some shit up. But, you know, we'll see. But the walls are closing in on Lomachenko, because how long are the fans going to settle for guys we know he has a style to beat? When is he going to fight a stylist? Like, here's an example. Tim Bradley. Bradley stepped in with Pacquiao 3 times. That's a style we don't know if he can beat. Bradley stepped in with Juan Manuel Marquez. That's a style and a person, like, because I was even saying, like, hey, I'm going to pick Bradley to win, but if Tim Bradley make too many mistakes, Marquez will make your ass pay, you know, because this was after Bradley fought him after Marquez had knocked out Pacquiao, you know. Bradley fought Ruslan Provodnikov. You know what I'm saying? When can we see Lomachenko, who's #1 pound for pound to them, when can we see him fight someone like that? Like a Ruslan Provodnikov. That if he has if he connects, that one punch is like on you. Ruslan has one punch power to turn things around. He did it. He showed you that in the Tim Bradley fight. Jorge Linares is not like that, mentally full. Like, come on, bro. That's why Teofimo, he said it. He said everything that I was saying. He says, everyone has an excuse why not to fight me. Oh, why should we fight Teo? Because it doesn't make sense, or how much money? It's not going to be that much money. He said they see the danger. That's what it is. They see the danger in him. And they're like, nah, you're not going to get it that easy. But like I said, Lomachenko, in his second pro fight, he got a WBO title because they thought he was going to beat Salido. Salido had other plans. You know, that's why they moved like that. They wouldn't have put Lomachenko if they knew Salido was going to win. They wouldn't have put him in there. They thought he was going to, oh, it's just Salido. You know, Gamboa beat his ass. Clearly, you're better than Gamboa. You know, and then he came up short. Salido walked his ass. So, yeah, man, the walls are closing in. And like I said, my thing is this. With new media, old media doesn't have to, they don't have to sell it so hard. Whatever legacy that each fighter is going to leave behind, that's what it's going to be. But your rankings can't fight for the fighter. That's why I don't believe in old media, because they get mad at me when I'm saying, like, I'm neutral with all these guys. I'm truly neutral, like, meaning I don't have an agenda or propaganda or an anger towards any of these guys. I'm telling you what I see in boxing. Like Jaime Munguia. I said I like the way, I said he's an action guy. He needs to work on his defense. The videos are still up. I said he needs to work on his defense because that's definitely lacking. And he can't fight. I said he can't fight Jared Hurd and Charlos and guys like that. This is literally my words. Then they just say he got robbed. I mean, they just say he robbed Dennis Hogan. So if you can't beat Dennis Hogan, how you going to beat Hurd? No disrespect to Dennis Hogan, but how you going to beat Charlo? And you can't get past effectively. Your defensive lapses are having you get hit so cleanly that people think Dennis Hogan beat you. How are you going to unify and beat those guys? And I never, I said the same thing. I said he got to work on his defense. He throws a lot of punches, great cardio. That's good. You got to work on your defense. Because I don't really know much about Dennis Hogan. I don't know what his power's like, but I know Charlo's power's like because I've watched him live. Knock out Charles Hatley. Watched him live, knock guys out. John Jackson. I was at all those fights. So, people are talking about Munguia versus Canelo. I'm not trying to see that, bro. DAZN got to do something too, since we at it. They got to do something too, because you don't have... See, this one... I'm always the bad guy until what I say turns out to be true. So Jaime Munguia is one of the star people on DAZN that they're hoping to build. And if he's not getting past Dennis Hogan, I don't see how you can try to build us on anytime soon Canelo versus Jaime Munguia, Triple G versus Jaime Munguia, even Andrade versus Jaime Munguia. These are all potential fights that I've heard, since Jaime was aligned with DAZN, that they would be possibly thinking about. They're talking about Jesse Vargas. Maybe you can make that because he's coming from 147 and taking the fight at 151 with Humberto Soto. So you might be able to still do that. But as far as the guys, the better and bigger guys like Canelo, Andrade, and Triple G, I just, if you can't effectively, you have to at least rematch Dennis Hogan. Because if you can't effectively get past him, I don't see how that's going to be a sellable fight. You know what I'm saying? Matthew Anthony said he looked bad in his last fight too against that Asian dude, Anui. That's what I'm saying. And he's looking, and see, this is the thing. He's looking bigger than his guys too. Skills pay the bills, I'm telling you. Floyd Mayweather in his welterweight career in 154 rarely looked way bigger than his opponents. Rarely. Skills pay the bills. You know, you could be big, but that don't help if you getting hit a lot and, you know, don't have no defense, stuff like that. Christina Hammer was bigger than Clarissa Shields, but she got dog walked. Law spit her mouthpiece out in the whole 9 yards. Hey, listen. Clarissa Shields is the realest woman. She's like the female Wilder in terms of like down to earth, real, but she's like that for females. In the fight, she said something that was so funny. John J. Jackson, he was like, "Yeah, I like what you was doing. You was doing some good stuff." And she's like, "Yeah, that bitch got a good jab." I almost lost it when she said that. She kept it too real. She said that bitch jab is. I was like, okay, bitch got a good jab. I was like, she really just said that in the corner though. I don't know, maybe I heard it wrong, but that's what it sounded like she said. It sounded like she was like, bitch got a good ass jab. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she gave her props. She said that bitch got a jab. She was sticking the jab. I worked around it, but bitch got a good jab. I was like, wow. Hey, you hood. That's that Flint. That's that Flint, right? That right there. That's that Flint. Hey, no disrespect. That was big for women's boxing, but women's refs. That lady, I want to. She just need more training. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna say it like that. I think she needs to train a little bit more because I think the ref, Clarissa Shields, like, first of all, they only have 2 minutes to get their work off, unlike men who got 3 minutes. That's not that much time. UFC got 5 minutes. You know, men's boxing got 3 minutes. Women, you know, they doing 2-minute rounds. That shit go by quick. You know, just so when anytime, first of all, Christina Hammer won a no smoke, you know, midway through the fight, through the remainder of the fight. So she was holding a lot. You only have 2 minutes to work and somebody's holding. That's not good because that, like, you know, luckily Clarissa Shields' attitude made the fight still, you know, action-packed enough. But I didn't like when the ref, I don't know if women's boxing is different. You know, I'll be 100% transparent. I don't know. I don't know if the rule set is different, but if you have one arm free in regular men's boxing, if you have one arm free, you're supposed to be able to work. But it's like every time they were in the clinch, there were these long, exaggerated breaks, these long-ass breaks. And I didn't like that because she every time she would clinch, she would get broken up. You know, like Clarissa was trying to work on the inside, and it reminded me of Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker when they had that weak ass ref in there, and Joseph Parker was trying to do some work on the inside as a shorter person, and then the ref kept breaking it up. That fucks up. How do you get a rhythm to anything? If you have one arm free, you're supposed to be able to, you know, be working at it. So I think the ref needed a little bit more training, or maybe, I don't know, maybe the women's boxing has a totally different rule, but I didn't like how she kept breaking them. And the other thing is the ref, I think she need more training just because when she spit out her mouthpiece, the team was taking hella long, going hella slow. That was bullshit. You supposed to, you know, you gonna get disqualified if you don't hurry the fuck up, or you gonna get a point deducted or something, because it was like they was purposely moving hella slow, and teams will do little bullshit because they were trying to give their fighter a breather. She was getting mollywopped, you know, so they were trying to go all slow, move all slow to get the mouthpiece, and you know, she was like, oh, come on, hurry up, but you got to be more stern than that, because that was you robbing Clarissa of an opportunity to get that work off. you know? She should be able to work, and then she chose to spit her mouthpiece out. Rapido. You got to make that shit snappy. Because she was hurt, that's why she did that. That's a veteran trick. Let me just waste hella time, burn time up on the clock, getting the mouthpiece. The team was taking way too long. Oh well, don't use the mouthpiece. So, Clarissa Shields, she bad. Oh, she was throwing, he said the overhead rights was fucking hammer up. She was just throwing them like, she was really throwing them like she was Madonna or something. Shout out to Clarissa Shields. She did her thing. She said, that bitch got a jab. John David Jackson, underrated trainer. I like him. See, people blamed him for the Kovalev shit. That sounded like it was Kovalev. Sounded like maybe they didn't see eye to eye, or, you know, the styles clashed or whatever. But he's a good trainer. Yeah, I'm proud of her. And the new, I'm going to bed. Holla at the boy, the Vampire Stream. We got some more to talk about. But like I said, old media, they going to learn today. 2019, we working. They keep putting Lomachenko on pound for pound list and then acting like a win over Corolla reassures them. See, again, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be even as bad if old media wasn't so disrespectful about it. What I mean is, if Robert Easter, remember he was the IBF champion at lightweight, if Robert Easter Jr. fought Anthony Corolla, you know what old media would say. They would have a problem with it. Oh, I mean, he robbed Denis Shafikov and Javier Fortuna. Now he's fighting Anthony Corolla. They wouldn't give a fuck if it was his mandatory. They wouldn't care, you know, who was favored. They wouldn't care about, you know, nothing. They would care about, why is this guy fighting Anthony Corolla? But then Lomachenko does it, and it's the best thing since the iPod. Stop it. Knowing damn well no one picked Corolla outside of maybe some guys from the UK or Eddie Hearns or something. Nobody picked no damn Corolla to beat Lomachenko. And then they act like this was some major surprise. You know, or remember when Broner was at 35? What if Broner fought Anthony Corolla? He'll destroy him. Broner at 35 was a beast. Broner would murder. That would actually be a good fight. Lomachenko and Broner. Because Broner has power at 35. He had power. He had power to, like, Loma wouldn't. If Broner dropped Sean Porter at 145. Broner got power. At 135, he had power. That would actually been a real good fight. Block Julio. That would have been a good fight, Broner. These dudes look retarded. Julio Galino. Thank you. Motherfucker, I have almost 200,000 subs. You look crazy. To call me a casual, you look stupid as fuck. I have almost 200,000 subs, and I do it by commentary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't cover every single fight. I go to the fights I want to cover. You get what I'm saying? So a ton of my videos are just me talking. So you look crazy. But anyway, I'm out. And listen, they think they discourage the new media. It's funny to me because I know what it's about. They have no ego. Shut your casual ass up. No explanation, no nothing. I'm so casual you decided to come here to tell me that I didn't know shit about boxing. Typical. Everybody have a good night. The Vampire Stream. Really proud of Clarissa Shields. We working. I'll be back with some more heat. Happy Sunday fun day to everybody. Shout out to my shooters and everybody for holding it down. Channel members. The Vampire Stream. They got no arguments. They just say you hating. Facts. That's all they can do because they know I'm demolishing their arguments. Bro, I've already seen it. There's some of the usual suspects are either gone or they're talking a little bit better now. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at some of the usual suspects, they tweeting shit that they wouldn't normally tweet. They writing articles that they normally wouldn't write. They're doing certain type of videos and giving props like, you know, oh, Clarissa Shields, you know, making videos. Clarissa Shields, she did pretty good. You know they don't want to say that. You know, old media, man, you don't have a choice. We making it so obvious what you was doing that you gotta conform to this new media shit. We the motherfucking mob. Digital mob. Money on top of boxing. Let's get it. Told you, we the fucking mob. West Side. Everybody have a good